So Bernie Sanders has yet again displayed not only his economic ignorance, but also his inability to do some basic math. So let's get into this to show just how simple-minded Bernie Sanders is. Now, first of all, in this tweet from Bernie Sanders, he is criticizing Walmart for paying the CEO $22 million. And then Bernie Sanders scratches his head and wonders why they can't pay their workers $15 an hour if their CEO makes $22 million. So someone replied to Bernie with some basic math, stating that Walmart has 1.5 million employees, so therefore redistribution of that $22 million would equal $14 per employee. Something important to take note of: that is not $14 an hour for the entire year. That is just an extra $14 in an entire year. That's it. Each employee would only receive $14 on January 1st if Walmart paid their CEO nothing and redistributed that salary to all the workers. Needless to say, $14 in an entire year is rather inconsequential. You could look for change under couch cushions and probably find more than $14 in a year. But this displays a vast ignorance on the part of Bernie Sanders, and I would like to show you how. Walmart has 979,000 employees that would get an hourly wage increase if Walmart was forced to pay $15 an hour to all hourly wage workers. Now, 979,000 employees. That number is a little bit dated, and also for just simplicity's sake, let's just call it 1 million. That's 1 million workers that would get a pay increase if Walmart started paying $15 an hour. Now, I also found that Walmart pays an average of $13.79 an hour to all of its hourly workers. So if they were forced to pay $15 an hour on average, Walmart would be paying an extra $1.21 per hour to all of its employees. And as a side note, I realize that extra $1.21 an hour is not entirely accurate. It depends on how many people make more than $15 an hour and the standard deviation from that average. So before anyone points that out, I want to just say that I'm aware of that. This is just an approximation using the numbers I have available. And this is also just a way to illustrate how this issue is not even close to being so simple as Bernie Sanders wants to make it seem. You cannot just say Walmart is rich, the CEO makes a lot of money, therefore we should force them to pay their employees more. So in the spirit of being fair, let's say the average hourly wage Walmart has to pay to get everyone up to $15 an hour is just $1 an hour per employee making less than $15 an hour. So what do we have? We have 1 million workers that need to be paid $1 an hour more to get them all up to at least $15 an hour. Let's assume all the workers are working 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year, which would be a total of 2,080 hours a year being worked by an individual employee. So let's do this math real quick. So we have 1 million workers that Walmart will need to pay $1 an hour more to. That's 1 million multiplied by 1, which is obviously 1 million. And then multiply the 1 million by the 2,080 hours each one of those million employees will work in a year, and you get $2,080,000,000. Okay. That's $2,080,000,000 extra Walmart would be paying every year to its employees. I really hope that gives everyone some idea of just how unbelievably naive Bernie Sanders is to just say, Walmart paid their CEO $22 million, so why can't it pay $15 an hour to all of its workers? Maybe because there is only one CEO and there are 1 million workers that need that pay increase to get it to $15 an hour. Could that have something to do with it? You cannot just say going from $13 an hour to $15 an hour is only a $2 an hour raise, so what's the big deal? You have to keep in mind basic multiplication. You have to multiply that wage increase by the number of workers and by the number of hours in an entire year to get a good grasp on this. I cannot believe I would have to explain this to a U.S. senator, but when you multiply a small number by two big numbers, the end result is a very big number. And honestly, I'm not trying to be mean-spirited or insulting, but I truly have to ask myself whether Bernie Sanders and his supporters actually understand that. And side note, the $22 million that the CEO got, that's about 1% of the $2.08 billion that Walmart would need to pay to all of its employees just to increase the hourly wage. to $15 an hour. Just a small little side note. Now, if Bernie Sanders were actually smart, he would have said that Walmart makes a profit of around $5 billion a year. This varies, obviously. It used to be much higher, but why can't it pay an extra $2,080 million a year to its employees? That would have at least been a little bit better than his mindless tweet, although that still fails due to the fact that Walmart's profit margins are razor thin at about 1%. So yes, Walmart has a revenue each year of hundreds of billions of dollars, but its costs are hundreds of billions of dollars as well, and the difference between the two hovers around 1% of each other, and even a slight increase in some variable costs could put Walmart under, or they'd have to raise prices in their stores, and their stores are mainly filled with the low-wage workers Bernie Sanders wants to help, and if Walmart has to raise prices, that diminishes the purchasing power of those wage earners, and it all would have been a big waste of time, not to mention any contractions Walmart would need to make in any area that is not profitable would cause job losses. So instead of making $15 an hour, they'd be making $0 an hour. That is not a minor detail. So anyway, I am sorry, Bernie Sanders. As much as you want to force a fantasy on all of us, reality has a harsh way of slapping back. You would do well for yourself by becoming a bit more in tune with how things actually work, so you don't end up hurting far more people than you help. But that is all for now. Like and subscribe if you understand the basic concept of multiplication. Bye.